and welcome back to Motorland Aragon. It's time for race one of the Hawkers European Talent Cup. Of course, Motorland Aragon been on the calendar since 2010, opened in 2009, a state-of-the-art facility located a stone's throw away from the historic Spanish town of Alcañiz. 5.1 kilometre layout, 14 laps coming up for the European Talent Cup riders. Plenty of overtaking opportunities here in Aragon. 10 left corners, 5 right corners, a near kilometre long straight. Plenty of slipstream is going to be seen here in the Hawkers European Talent Cup. There's the famous wall, and there is blue skies for race day. Thankfully, Motorland Aragon. Threats of rain yesterday for qualifying in the morning. Thankfully, it mostly stayed clear. A few spots here and there, but nothing too much to worry about. And then it did clear up fully for the afternoon's running. There's the famous castle over in Alcañiz. Stunning views here in Motorland Aragon. It really is a fantastic part of the world. I can see some smoke there coming from the starting grid. I hope that's nothing too much to worry about. Maybe one of the bikes has just let go a little bit. But here's what happened then over at the Algarve International Circuit. It was Dodo Boggio starting from pole position, trying to eat more points out of Joel Espan's lead, but his race would end with this nasty crash on lap 1 on the exit of turn 5. The only race that these guys had over in Portimao. As always, in the Hawkers European Talent Cup, a fascinating battle at the front raged on. Brian Ariarte, the number 51, Max Martinez, the reigning European Talent Cup winner. It all came down to a last lap scrap. Guillaume Plonk there on the number 24 was involved too. Joel Esteban, of course, missed Jerez, so saw his title lead slashed. It all came down to this, the run to the line. We see that so often in Portimao, don't we? But it was Brian Ariarte who just pipped Joel Esteban to victory back in July, a long time ago now. So it's a welcome return for the Hawkers European Talent Cup and this paddock, of course. Only the JuniorGP riders were over at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli for their race over there. So it's a welcome return for the penultimate round of the season in Aragon before we head to Valencia in a couple of weeks' time, a week before the Grand Prix paddock. Head to the circuit Ricardo Tormo for the season finale. But in perfect conditions here, little to no wind, 21 degrees air temperature, not too hot but not cold either, so perfect for a day's racing.
You could not ask for anything better here under the Aragon sun. It's a great part of the country, and here in Spain. It's my first time here. I think it might be the second time for you, Elliot, but it's an incredible, picturesque place that we're at. We were taking in the views yesterday, sitting from the side of the track, and this is what happened in qualifying yesterday.
I'm very happy because it's a nice trophy of my friend Hugo, and I'm very happy. This gives me a lot of power for next race, for tomorrow, and try to win, so I'm quite happy. The qualifying was quite good because I did good rhythm and good lap time. We put new tires in the first and second, so we were quite distributed good. And the problem was that I crashed in the first qualifying, but then I get the bike, I started again, and I did the lap time with the bike a bit broken, but it was good. I'm quite happy, and yes, thanks to everybody, and thank you.
Good to hear then from the pole sitter Maximo Martinez. For the Red Bull Rookies Cup fans, his name over there is Max Chies. So yeah, the same rider, just a different name used here in the Junior GP paddock. It's his second pole. It's very confusing, yeah. It happens quite a lot of things, so it is confusing a little bit. But yeah, they are the same rider, and he's very much a star of the future, of course, reigning 2021 ETC champion. It's his second pole of the year, only his third overall as well. So don't normally see Max Martinez on pole position, and he's displayed great speed, set that late lap time in QP2 yesterday in the warm conditions. And we mentioned Red Bull Rookies Liam. He's third overall over there, and last time out when they were here in Aragon not too long ago, of course, alongside the Grand Prix paddocks, he did pick up a couple of podiums, so he obviously likes Motorland.
He does indeed. He was in a massive scrap for the win in both races. Came out second best and third best in them, but he's got great form around this Aragon circuit. And warm-up this morning, he was almost half a second quicker than everyone else. So Max Martinez, he is only 32 points off Joel Esteban in the championship. Now that sounds like a lot, but let's not forget the horrendous start that Joel Esteban had to season. 2 crashes in Estoril, then a big issue in race number 1 in Valencia. So already he was 75 points down off Joel Esteban. After 3 races, he's now clawed that back, and he is well and truly coming back into this title mix.
Yeah, not the best of starts to the year for Max Martinez, any way, shape or form. But yeah, Joel Esteban then, he'll start from 4th place. We'll get to him very shortly indeed. We saw there in 2nd place. In fact, before we touch upon 2nd place, we saw Max Martinez getting handed a nice pole position trophy on the Aragon podium yesterday. That was in memory of Hugo Milan, who we sadly lost in a crash here last year. And Hugo Milan, of course, racing in his thoughts, in everyone's thoughts, continuously. And of course, a lot of these riders were good friends of Hugo Milan. So we race on in his memory. Good to see that Max Martinez got a nice little trophy in memory of Hugo yesterday. So second on the grid then is Dodo Boggio. DNF, as we saw on the first lap back in Portimao when he started on pole position. He's 19 points down on his teammate Joel Esteban, and it is his 3rd front row of the year. And hopefully for Boggio's sake and the Aspar team's sake, that he gets a little bit further round than he did over in Portimao. Not the way he would have wanted to end his race, of course, and he's, of course, with the break that these guys have had over the summer and the coming months, it's obviously they've had to sit on it for quite a while as well.
Yes, it's going to be like letting the hounds loose out of the gates here today when they finally get racing once again. It's been a long time. Some of them have been competing, as we said, in the Red Bull Rookie. Some of them have been doing other things, but some of them have not had any racing action since the middle of July. That's a long, long time without having any racing. Now, you could do all the training in your world, but nothing will quite get you as ready as it will do for racing here in the European Talent Cup.
Here is the grid then, as the engines rumble, the riders get set for race 1 here. It's Max Martinez on pole position from Dodo Boggio and Guido Pini. Pini 2nd in the overall standings. Esteban is your title leader. He goes from 4th. Federico Salmella, the Red Bull Rookies Cup winner here in Aragon. Casio Gormon, row 2. Alcina Fuertes and Al Sahuti on row 3.
On row number 4, it's Carter Thompson ahead of Rushi Midley, and Rioth rounding out the 4th row of the grid ahead of Garcia. And then Paria and Danish, Hakim Danish, watch out for him. He is one to watch further down in the field as well. Back on row number 7 is Fernandez ahead of Grenfell and Trias, the number 62. Donoso Algular on number 99 is further back. And then there's a raft of penalties that came in after qualifying yesterday. The likes of Brian Uriarte, who won last time out in Portimao, will be starting down in 26th spot of the grid. So watch out for the number 51 on the online machine, the red machine from the back of the grid, charging through the pack. Just remember, he has won 2 races so far this year. He's finished 3 of them, and all 3 of them he's finished on the podium. So Brian Uriarte from 26th in the grid is one to watch.
Yeah, certainly is. So, in terms of the European Talent Cup title then, Joel Esteban is 15 points clear of 2nd place in the title race, Guido Pini. Boggio is in 3rd place, 19 points back. And Max Martinez, the pole sitter, is 32 points back. There's 3 races, including this one, to go in 2022. A race later on this afternoon and 1 in Valencia. So, it can't be won in this race, but Esteban or Pini, Boggio, Martinez can certainly take a huge step towards claiming the title in this race, especially Joel Esteban, who boasts that 15-point advantage. So we won't worry about it too much this race, but we will, of course, try and keep you updated. But it is in race 2 where the title can be won. Basically, if anyone, mainly Joel Esteban, leaves this weekend with a 25-point or more advantage, they will be crowned the 2022 title winner. But we'll keep you updated throughout. We'll try and get our calculators out and do the maths for you. I'm a bit hopeless at maths. I'm not sure about Julian. You're shaking your head at me. I don't think you're
Oh,
the
I
best.
was terrible at maths.
So we need to get the calculators out. Hopefully we can do a little bit better job of what we've seen in Japan as well. Hopefully don't get any of that. But you just saw the title standings on your screen there. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. But I think we're going to get a fascinating race here in Aragon. This is the back straight, the kilometre-long back straight. We're going to see plenty of slipstream and overtaking down here. There is the number 78, Joel Esteban, of course, missed Jerez through illness. Dodo Boggio won the 2 races down in Spain. So yeah, he's not won, of course, since Valencia.
And we've got a wild card this weekend. Some from the British Talent Cup will know the name Evan Belford on the 75 machine. He is racing for the Michael Laverty Vision Track Academy. He will be going from 18th on the grid. Incredible. I don't think he's seen the circuit at all before this weekend, and he only qualified 2.4 seconds off of Max Martinez, who was well and truly a class above everyone else. And in warm-up this morning, he was only 1.8 seconds off Max Martinez. So watch out for Evan Belford, who won the final 2 races of the season back at Donington Park last weekend.
Here we go then. Res will soon be up. The final riders coming up to their grid slots. Will be underway shortly for this 14-lap encounter in the Hawkers European Talent Cup. Plenty on the line for these riders here today in Aragon. The lights are on, and now they're off, and we are underway here for race 1 in the Hawkers European Talent Cup. It looks like a great start from Dodo Boggio and Guido Pini from the front row. Max Martinez just trying to cut across there at the start of the race, but Martinez, a great start then for the pole sitter. He breaks late into turn 1, runs it a little bit wide, but gets the whole shot. Boggio and Pini pick up P2 and P3. That's where they started, and a good start too from Joel Esteban. He's looking at the inside straight away of Guido Pini. Shows the number 93 out wide. That's Casey O'Gorman around the outside. Looks like O'Gorman is going to get himself up into 3rd place, but a perfect start then for your pole sitter Max Martinez and Dodo Boggio there. A great start from Casey O'Gorman. He's up into 3rd place from the outside of row 2.
Just further back we saw Brian Uriarte, the number 51, running off the track ever so slightly. He's back in 23rd spot, so he's only gained 3 places off the line through sector 1. Brian Uriarte, the number 51, was starting in 26th spot, but we have to keep an eye on him, but he was running off track. But Casey O'Gorman, I was watching him off the line, got absolutely brilliant launch off the line, up to 3rd spot. He has been one of the quickest riders all weekend. We've seen him do lap times on his own through practice and in qualifying. He seems comfortable running by himself. He'd be getting caught up with other riders on his fast laps. So let's see what the number 67 on the Vision Track racing machine can do. But it's getting overtaken, sat up a little back by your championship leader Joel Esteban, who runs over the curbs. Can O'Gorman sweep around the outside? No, he can't, but it's Joel Esteban who moves into 3rd. Gorman looking back up the inside into turn number 12, but can't make it stick. So it's a bit of a elbows out start to the race for Joel Esteban, your championship leader.
Yeah, doesn't want at the top 2 getting away anytime soon, does he, Joel Esteban? Made that move down into turn 12 on Kato Gorman. A nice clean move, but it's time for Slipstream City down the back straight here in Aragon. O'Gorman makes his way up the inside of Joel Esteban, who's going to be last on the brakes. It looks like it's going to be Casey O'Gorman. So O'Gorman then biting straight back on Joel Esteban as we complete lap 1 here. It's the perfect lap 1 for Max Martinez. He's 32 points down, remember, in the overall standings. Is the pole sitter and reigning European Talent Cup winner. So anything less than at least a podium here, you'd have to imagine, will be, depending of course what happens behind him, but Max Martinez really does need a strong result here today in race 1 especially. Boggio getting a good start, O'Gorman crossline 3rd, Esteban in 4th place and Pini in P5. So all the big hitters in terms of the title charge are in this lead group of 5 that are just stretching slightly clear of 6th place Pau Alsina, the number 26 rider. So a good start from all the title front runners.
Casey O'Gorman in 3rd spot's looking very menacing behind Dodo Boggio. Will look up the inside in turn 7, no, he won't. Bit of a moment on the front end for Boggio. Pini tries to look up the inside of Joel Esteban, but this is just giving a little bit of advantage to Max Martinez, who's on a great run of form at the moment. In the last 4 races, or in the last 5 races, he's had 4 top 4 finishes. We've got a crash in the background, not sure what that was. That may have been Alsina from 6th spot, the number 26, coming down the reverse corkscrew, sliding out through the right-hander, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. It must have been Alsina because there's a big gap all the way back to Al Saouti now. And yellow flag, it was the number 26 of Alcina on the white bike. So gravel all over the track, so the riders are going to have to be very careful the next time to come through that corner next lap.
Doesn't look like Alcina's going to be able to get that bike restarted. He had a crash in warm-up too, did Alcina, along with Hamad Al-Sahouti down at turn 17, the final corner. But good to see Alcina is back up and okay. O'Gorman now then into second place, and Boggio has just been shuffled back to fourth place as his teammate and good friend Joel Esteban just gives the classic old seat tap, the rear seat tap, saying stick behind me mate, let's try and build our way to the front. It's very rarely listened to in these lower classes especially, but they can see Max Martinez getting into his rhythm and just stretching clear slightly. He's got over half a second advantage on the chasing pack as Max Martinez, and he showed great speed earlier on in warm-up, showed great speed in qualifying too. So the best of laps that for Dodo Boggio, just running wide there on the outside of the final corner. It looks like he's going to lose out to Guido Pini down into turn 1 as well. Yes, he is. So Dodo Boggio goes from P2 down to P5 in the space of a lap, and it's now O'Gorman and Esteban leading the charge up to your race leader, Max Martinez.
Ryan Uriarte watching the end of lap number 3. He's up to 16th place, so starting from 26th. Oh, that's Boggio down, losing the rear end out of turn number 3. The bike goes off the track. Boggio tumbling. Let's hope the number 47 is okay, but that was it wasn't Casey O'Gorman that went down, it was Dodo Boggio. Gorman still in second spot. The number 67 on the vision track, MLAV Racing Team machine. He's getting overtaken by your championship leader, Joel Esteban. Max Martinez is getting away. O'Gorman is trying to get back up the inside. Joel Esteban taps in the seat. O'Gorman maybe thinking better of it, looks across at him and slots back into third, but Dodo Boggio, disaster. 2 races in a row the number 47 has crashed out of a really handy position as the riders take it easy through the gravel trap there, and Guido Pini tries to take advantage of Esteban, and O'Gorman sitting up through the gravel. So as we said last lap, with Alcina crashing out through that corner, it's dragged a lot of gravel onto the left-hander there that a lot of the riders will be taking fairly easy for the next few laps.
Disaster then for Dodo Boggio. It didn't look like he was straight back up on his feet, which of course is the main thing, because that's a scary place to go down turn 3. So good to see Boggio is all okay. Hopefully he can be back up and out again in race 2, but that is costly in terms of his title hopes. Remember, he's 19 points down ahead of this race on the number 78, his teammate Joel Esteban. He's given another couple of seat taps to Guido Pini and Casey O'Gorman. I think they are trying to listen to him, as we see the number 99 of Mark Alguila on the Lara Sport machine. He has crashed out. Looks like a heavy crash there down at turn 7, that looks like. Can't quite see there from the timing screens. Hopefully turn 11 we're getting told, so hopefully he is all okay.
Max Martinez is converting the qualifying and practice form that we saw yesterday into race pace as well. 1.4 seconds quicker than or ahead of the battle for second, which is now led by Joel Esteban. He was set a best lap of a 2:02.4. That was almost 9/10 of a second quicker than the chasing pack behind. So he's checking out Max Martinez, your European Talent Cup champion from 2021. 32 points off your championship leader so far this year. That is Joel Esteban, the man in third spot at the moment. If he continues on like this, he will bring that gap to under 25 points. So with 23 points going into race number 2 later on today.
Another couple of attempts in favour of Max Martinez, then edged out on this chasing group, led now by Guido Pini. So he's not taken the orders of Joel Esteban to stick behind him. Guido Pini now is up into second place. They've just got a box clever here of the chasing pack. Here's the updated standings then, and if Max Martinez can keep it where he is, he'll claw 12 points back on Joel Esteban. A long way to go, of course. 10.5 laps, plenty can happen, but you can see how costly it is for Dodo Boggio. That crash, he'll drop to 32 points down in the title race with just 2 races remaining if things stay as they are. Guido Pini up in second place, of course, doing a good job here. So 1.5 seconds the gap is to your race leader, Max Martinez, as we go down the back straight. One more time, Casey O'Gorman in hot pursuit as well. So the podium battle at the minute is just between these guys, because they've dropped the chasing pack that's currently led by Hamad Al-Sahouti on the Leopard Impala Junior Team machine. A whole host of riders are in that group, all the way down to 15th place. A lot, just over a second, sort of 1.5 seconds splitting those guys, and it does include Brian Uriarte, last time out race winner. So keep an eye on Brian Uriarte's podium hopes look to be evaded. If he can get into the top 10 and maybe even higher, that'll be a job well done for Brian O'Reilly.
It's a great battle going on for a second between Pini, Gorman and Joel Esteban, championship leader. Gorman's chasing after his third podium in a row, so he's had 2 podiums in the last 2 races. He's chasing for his third in a row. He's had a lot of bad luck so far this year. He's crashed out or he's had retirements from great positions. And Max Martinez, he is checking out. Look at that, 2:01.9. That is almost a second quicker. It was, in fact, well, almost a second quicker than the riders from 5th downwards, but a few tenths quicker than the battle for second. They've not been chopping themselves up quite as much as they were a couple of laps ago, so they've kind of been able to hold that gap a little bit station, but it's gone up from 1.4 seconds in the previous lap to 1.7 as Casey O'Gorman looked to have a little look up the inside of Guido Pini. Guido Pini has been a bridesmaid so far this year in most of the races. He's still chasing his first win of the season. He's had lots of podiums, but we've got a rider off the track there. I'm not sure if that was maybe the number 99 from a few laps ago, but yeah, that was a rider pulling off towards the end of the circuit. Thankfully, it's none of our riders at the front of the field.
Just saw a rider being stretched away there in the background. Hopefully they are all okay, and that's just a precaution. Yeah, Guido Pini has been misconsistent this year. No DNFs to his name. I hope I've not just jinxed him with that, the young Italian. But yeah, starting from his second front row, there's Nico Tirol looking cautiously on, let's say. Of course, Tirol will be taking over the sort of director role, the team manager role in the Gas Aspar team from next year, with Gino Borsoi moving on, of course, to Pramac Racing. Of course, we saw Jorge Martinez Aspar in the box yesterday, didn't we, Liam? And Nico Tirol, good to see they've made their way back from Thailand to come to Aragon this weekend before making their way back over to Australia next year. It shows how much they care. We didn't need a reminder of that, of course, but the Aspar team have got such a strong pathway now right up to MotoGP happening. It's a great setup for the likes of Joel Esteban and Dodo Boggio to be involved in.
Yeah, a great pathway, a great young talent as we've seen Ethan Guevara and Sergio Garcia in the Moto3 Championship this year, dominating the championship, especially in the hands of Ethan Guevara as of late. But when we were walking down the pit garages yesterday and we saw Jorge Martinez Aspar in the pit garage, we were just laughing as to why he's here. He's come all the way from Thailand. He's going to Australia next weekend. If it was us two, I'm pretty sure we'd be sitting on a beach somewhere enjoying our time off. But it just shows you the commitment that Jorge Martinez Aspar has to the cause, coming all the way from Thailand to Aragon here just to make sure that everything is running smoothly, that the riders are all set up and that pathway has a strong leader at the top.
Absolutely. So Casey O'Gorman then on the last lap set the fastest lap of the race, a 10th quicker, just under a 10th quicker in fact, from your race leader Max Martinez. This race isn't over and done with yet. It was just sort of there down into turns 4 and 5. Guido Pini and Casey O'Gorman just interchanging positions there, and we saw Joel Esteban taking a long look behind him and seeing, well, pretty much nothing, just empty asphalt behind him. So Joel Esteban now knows, you probably seen on his pit board as well, that he's not got too much to worry about behind him. All he needs to focus on now is trying to, one, catch up to race leader Max Martinez, who now has a 2-second lead in this race with just over 8 laps to go, but also just try and get onto the podium with Casey O'Gorman and Guido Pini. O'Gorman hasn't really got a chance in the overall standings in terms of title, 48 points down on Joel Esteban is Casey O'Gorman as he gives a big tap to the seat. How many times have we seen that this race, Liam? I think that's now
half a dozen or something.
4 or 5 times already this race. But O'Gorman set the fastest lap of the race last time around, so he's clearly got pace.
What's happened here?
We have a red flag.
Yes, we do.
We have a red flag just flashing up on our timing screens. Max Martinez didn't see it in time to pull into pit lane. So just wondering what that is about, because we've not seen anything else come up on our timing screens. Okay, we're getting a crash down here for Belford, it looks like, and Kazma Daniel. So the British rider and the American rider, and Ramersdorfer as well, unless the S sign is just for them pulling into pit lane. I think it might be that.
Yes,
we're not sure what's going on anyway. We know there is a red flag though with 9 laps to go, so we'll obviously try and bring you the latest information when we have it. We're not sure what's gone on. The riders there just noticing that at the end of the lap, sticking their legs up, of course, just to notify that they've seen it and racing has stopped. So yeah, we'll get confirmation when we know that, but we have got a red flag here in Aragon.
So the top 3 from the race just caught the red flag at the last possible moment, so that's why they're still in the circuit at the moment, making their way back to the pits. And further back, there was a great battle going on for 5th all the way down. It's a crash we're getting flashing up on our time monitor for 70 and the number 75. So yes, that is Belford and Daniel, the Vision Track racing team rider of Belford, and also number 70. So we've got riders down there. Well, that's not good news. So just telling the leaders that are coming right now to go round. So fingers crossed for the 2 riders that have gone down.
We're going to get a replay here then. They're down into turn 12. Oh, that's a nasty high side there for Evan Belford.
Unfortunately, Belford
collected there from Kazma Daniel.
Yeah.
The main thing is obviously they're both clearly conscious, but a heavy, heavy crash there for the 2. So hopefully they are all okay. But yeah, right to red flag it then. The nasty crash down there at turn 12, a tricky left-hand corner. We've seen some incidents down there. It's a very easy place to go down at, isn't it? We normally see a front-end crash down there at turn 12. Very tricky braking zone. But yeah, nothing much, unfortunately, that Kazma Daniel could do there to try and get out of the way of Evan Belford. So yeah, a nasty crash down there. Red flags are out. And fingers crossed that both of those riders are fully okay.
We can only hope that since we were given the replay that we have heard from the doctors and the trackside marshals that both riders are conscious, are talking, and it's just precautionary checks that they've still got them both there as well. So yes, as you said, Elliot, fingers crossed everything that is okay between Belford and Daniel, and any news we have we will relate to you as soon as we have that news available.
The riders then pulling up to pit lane. Casey O'Gorman, he'll be pleased with what he was able to achieve in that race 1. A rider who won't be happy to see the red flags. No one's obviously happy to see red flags, but Max Martinez had a 2.1 second lead and was looking very strong to claim his 2nd victory of the season. Hasn't actually crossed the line in 1st this year as Max Martinez. He was 2nd over in Valencia race 2. Joel Esteban took the checker flag in 1st place, but was eventually disqualified for a technical infringement. So Max Martinez inherited that 25 points. A win is a win, of course, but Max Martinez, knowing that he does need to get some major points on the board if he's going to try and reclaim that 2021 title he claimed last year, he does need a victory to his name or some good points on the board. So Max Martinez looking strong here. He'll be disappointed, of course, and Dodo Boggio, of course, talking of disappointment. Good to see him back in the box, all okay. Of course, looking disappointed after his early crash out in between turn 3 and 4. We didn't get a replay of that, did we? Not quite sure what happened. But here is the race start then. Max Martinez launching well from pole. I did think for a second that Boggio and Pini just got the better of Martinez, but Martinez very good on the brakes down there into turn 1. There you can see there Boggio got the initial launch absolutely nailed, but Martinez sort of in the 2nd phase of the start, and especially into the braking zone. Look how late he brakes there, going down into turn 1. Thought, is he going to be running wide? Is he going to be running it off track? But no, kept it nice and clean. So a good start there for Max Martinez. And from there, Liam, he didn't really look back, did he?
No, he led right from the start all the way up to the red flag came out. He was in imperious form, was it Max Martinez. Here's the crash for Dodo Boggio, just lost the rear, a bit like Marc Marquez did, but Marc Marquez stayed on it a couple of weeks ago here for the GP, but Dodo Boggio thankfully not getting tangled up with his bike, and the bike just shot off to the right-hand side. He gets back up, but unfortunately that is disastrous for his championship assault. We saw last time out in Portimao when he crashed in lap number 1, the race was red flagged immediately. Him and the team were both trying to get the bike restarted back out for the race, but just missed out. Unfortunately, he will not be likely to take the restarts again. But the person that this has worked out for is the number 51 of Brian Uriarte, who's, when the red flag came out, was up to 6th place. So that's negated his penalty from the first start when he started 26th after a penalty post-qualifying for riding slowly in 5 sectors. So Brian Uriarte has a 2nd bite of the apple now and will be right in the mix from the start.
Yeah, you have to think that Uriarte, starting from the outsides of row 2, where Casey O'Gorman started, of course, in the initial start of the race, and we saw what O'Gorman was able to do from there. So a good start for Uriarte. He'll be able to get himself into the podium battle from the off, and what a result that would be after he received a penalty for riding slowly in 5 sectors in qualifying 1. No update on the riders who we saw crashed so far, Casper Daniel and Evan Belford. Again, fingers crossed they're both okay, and it was just precautionary checks. Here's Max Martinez then. The Team Honda Laglice garage going very, very well, of course, in this championship. And over in the Red Bull Rookies as well, as we mentioned at the start of the programme, a double podium here in Aragon, and we've seen this weekend how much he likes this place. He also has a couple of wins to his name in the Red Bull Rookies Cup this year in Jerez and Mugello. So really is a start for the future, a start for now in terms of Junior GP is Max Martinez. We can expect to see him on the Junior GP grid next year. I think he was a little bit too young to move up last year after winning the European Talent Cup title, but we don't know for sure, but I think we can safely say he will probably be on the Junior GP grid next year, and he's a real star, isn't he, Liam? We've seen it in the Red Bull Rookies and of course in this championship as well.
He's an incredible prospect for the future, as you were just saying, and I think you're well right. He was a little bit too young to move up to Junior GP for this year. The new rules have been brought into place for this year to sort of stop the riders coming through at a rapid rate of knots, to just build experience from class to class. So by the time that they do make it up to World Championship level, and eventually, hopefully in their case, MotoGP, they will have had a long time of racing and a lot of time to build up that experience as well. So Max Martinez, the number 28, is only going from strength to strength so far this year. In the last 5 races, 4 top 4 results as well. Incredible form that the number 28 is on after such a terrible start to the season, when he was pointless for the first 3 races until he inherited that win in race number 2 at Valencia. So yes, we have to imagine again that he will be hoping to repeat the feat in the second start of this race, whenever that may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have started his season any worse. Couldn't have started his title defence any worse over in Estoril, could Max Martinez, the 14-year-old Spaniard. But yeah, as we mentioned, he is the reigning ETC champion. Won 3 times last year and 5 podiums as to his name as well. We just saw there Guido Pini, a good race there from Guido Pini. He kept himself in the podium battle, as we've seen him do so many times this year. 15 points down to Joel Esteban is the Italian. As we said, he's not won a race this year, surprisingly enough, but he has been Mr. Consistent. He's consistently finished inside the points as Guido Pini, and he is Esteban's closest challenger. But he hasn't stood on the podium, Liam, since Valencia, and his best result since then, since that second place, has been a 5th place finish. So he'll be hoping he can get some more points on the board, get another podium under his belt to try and, I wouldn't say kickstart his campaign, because his campaign doesn't need kickstarting because he's in 2nd place, but just it's 4 races now he's not stood on the podium, just to maybe regain a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, it's important to know that he has been inside the podium battle in those races, but just for whatever reason has just missed out in the last dying moments of every race. But you have a feeling that if he does get that win off his back, it could just unlock the floodgates of wins and podiums, and it could really go Guido Pini's way. He's right on the cusp of just unlocking that extra little bit, and once he does, you never know what could happen. Joel Esteban leads it at the moment, 15 points ahead of Guido Pini, and Dodo Boggio, who will not take the restart after his crash earlier on, who was sitting 19 points off the championship lead. So unfortunately for the Italian number 47, that's 2 crashes in 2 races from fantastic spots in the running order. There's Casey O'Gorman. We hope he's not playing some games on that phone. He's maybe just sort of taking in some data, but then again, who knows what they're doing when they're relaxing in the garage and taking some time off to get themselves prepared for a restart.
Yeah, I imagine he's watching maybe the start of the race on his iPhone, or of course other makes of phone are available. But yeah, obviously we're live on YouTube, so maybe he's just rewound it slightly and just watching the start of the race. There's Casey O'Gorman, a very, very exciting prospect from Ireland is Casey O'Gorman. I remember speaking to team manager Michael Lavty over in Barcelona, and he said, yeah, Casey O'Gorman is a real prospect. You could sort of stick him on any sort of tyre, sort of like 20 lap old tyres, and he'll just go out there and ride the thing like it's brand new. And to be coming over to Spain and competing on these sort of tracks where the likes of Esteban Martinez and a whole host of riders have obviously grew up here and raced in Spain their whole life, to come over here and immediately compete with them. Of course, the 21 British Talent Cup champion dominated that year, didn't he? 8 wins, 11 podiums. Casey O'Gorman really is one to watch for the future, for British and Irish fans, for sure.
He's a fantastic talent. He's one of the best prospects coming out of that part of the world. And talking about his junior career, I was covering the Fab Racing Series in 2019, the year after he had won the championship. And when I got into the paddock, everyone was raving about Casey O'Gorman and look out for this young kid. He's away doing the Spanish championships now. He's a star for the future. And in Valencia of 2019, I saw him competing in the pre-Moto 4 series, which was alongside MotoGP, and turned up for one race, and him and the champion at the time, decided to fire off into the distance, and there was just a race between them about 30 seconds down the road from anyone else. So he is a great talent, a young prospect, and a fantastic talent for Ireland as well, who have had a great history in the motorsport world throughout the years as well. So Casey O'Gorman, the number 67, you have a feeling that that first win is just around the corner. 2 podiums in the last 2 races. Could he go one step further and take that race win here today once the race does restart, or race number 2 later on today?
He'll be certainly hoping so. He's another rider competing over in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. He's had a couple of podiums over there too, which is no mean feat. The Red Bull Rookies Cup, I'm sure people watching are aware of just how competitive that class is and how close the racing is in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. So yeah, O'Gorman, like we say, really is one to watch out for, and it's his second best qualifying of the year, is 6th place. So if he can just sort of maybe make a little bit of a step on a Saturday, then he'll be right in the podium hunt, as he already is every time. And yeah, just obviously wants to get that first win, doesn't he, like plenty of the riders do. So no updates as of yet as to when we're going to get the restart. We can still see the red flag flashing up on our timing screens. That's Dodo Boggio sitting there with Nico Tirol and Joel Esteban waiting patiently for the race to be restarted. We'll of course bring you any information we have on Evan Belford and Kazma Daniel, who crashed out down at turn 12, and hopefully we'll be getting underway very shortly indeed. Good to see some fans here, of course. Free entry, I think, for fans this weekend, as it is for most of the year in the Junior GP classes. Plenty of friends and family will be coming over to support their stars, of course.
The local riders, everything like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, seen some umbrellas out there today, so not for the rain, just shows you how warm it is out there with the sun beating down on people's heads, so trying to keep the heads cool. But not only the fans enjoying some fantastic racing action here today at Motorland Aragon, they're also getting a fantastic playlist of music as well, as we can hear the Kings of Leon playing in our headset as well. We've had Robbie Williams this morning, we've had Cher, we've had the Cranberries, we've had everything, including also Nirvana, Metallica as well. So been a whole host of different material of music today, and I must admit, before we went on air today, I was having a great time enjoying it like it was a festival as well. So yeah, the fans enjoying the racing and enjoying the music and enjoying the hot sun as well. So hopefully everyone out there is staying hydrated, and if they can get themselves a hand of an umbrella, make sure they keep their heads cool as well, because it is very warm out there today, even though it is almost the middle of October.
It is warm, not too warm, 21 degrees, so a nice temperature for these guys to be standing out and watching some of their heroes race. The young stars of the future, of course. Plenty of family and friends will be coming along to watch and support. Here's Carter Thompson. He was competing in the Asia Talent Cup back in Japan and Thailand, of course. Japan was a little bit of a washout on the Saturday, so the Asia Talent Cup, who had waited a good few months ever since the Indonesian GP way back at the start of the year to get their season back underway. Carl Thompson unfortunately taken out in race 2 on the Sunday morning. Myself and Fran Wild were commentating on the race. He unfortunately got taken out in that one, but returned in Thailand, finished 4th in race 1 over there, and then in very difficult conditions in the second race, he claimed his debut podium. So Carter Thompson coming into this weekend, buoyed by that debut podium in the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. Of course, flying back from Thailand, maybe a little bit jet lagged, a little bit like myself. I've been absolutely shattered all week, I'm sure.
I cannot blame you,
you
whatsoever.
have as well. Obviously a busy time of year for the motorcycle racing world. Of course, MotoGP season coming to an end. The JuniorGP paddock, the penultimate round, followed by the final round of the year. For these guys, of course, Red Bull Rookies Cup, the World SBK end of season is getting underway as well. Briefly mentioned Rico Salmela, a nice little pose for the camera there for the Finnish rider. He picked up his debut win in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Did Rico Salmela last time around in Aragon. So he goes well here, does Rico Salmela. One to watch out for, like many of these riders are, for the future. Starting from the middle of the second row, did Rico Salmela. Just trying to see him on our timing screens. Dropped down to P18, so not sure what happened to Salmela there. But yeah, he'll be hoping for a better start in the restarts. The red flag thing at the bottom of our timing screens, ribbon, let's say, not thing.
It's a great way of describing it. It's just a thing. It's down at the bottom of our timing screens.
For want of a better word, has disappeared. We've still got the symbol at the top of our timing screens. No word yet of when we are going to get a restart. So we'll continue chatting away. Everyone waiting patiently in pit lane, but we are going to have a reduced race. I don't think it will be the full 9 laps that we had left on the billing. Now, we were mentioning Asia Talent Cup fame. Hakim Danish was also competing in the Asia Talent Cup, and he is currently leading the way over there. He had a strong race in Japan, finished second, and then won one of the races in Thailand. Race 1 he won over in Thailand. So yeah, Hakim Danish from Malaysia, of course, leading the Asia Talent Cup standings. So he comes into this weekend on form as well. 5th in the championship, still mathematically in with a shout of claiming the title this year as Hakim Danish. A couple of P2s to his name. He's not quite got that win under his belt, but a couple of podiums in Estoril and Jerez for Hakim Danish. So he'll be hoping for more this weekend.
Yeah, Hakim Danish being, well, he's a rider that's on lots of form here in 2022, as you were saying. Asia Talent Cup championship leader, 5th in the championship. It would be something else if he could storm through and win the European Talent Cup and, of course, the Asia Talent Cup in the same season. We're just seeing some slow motion replays of the riders heading into turn number 1. Casey O'Gorman getting his Honda dancing on the braking zone into turn number 1. He's really getting the big skipping around like a Moto2 bike. It's not really a European Talent Cup machine that he's treating it like, but as long as he's fast, that's all that matters. He was second in the standings before the red flag came out, after the crash for Evan Belford and Kazma Daniel, the number 75 and number 70 riders as well. Still no update on the riders' conditions, but we will bring you that as soon as possible. But we do have an update on the start again. So the pit lane will reopen at 12:30. That is local time for 60 seconds. Sorry, 12:38. That's my eyes deceiving me there. So it's flashing up for 60 seconds. There'll be a 5-lap dash for the cash once we get restarted again for the European Talent Cup. It'll be a quick restart procedure, so the bikes will head out. They'll stop on the grid. Then they'll start off once again for the warm-up lap, and then we'll go again for 5 more laps of European Talent Cup action.
Yeah, so another 5 or so minutes before pit lane opens. All the riders will have to get out before the 60 seconds counts down. Otherwise, they're going to have to start from pit lane, because pit lane will be closed. Quick restart procedure. So they'll do a sighting lap, make their way to the grids. One of the mechanics will be waiting there on the grids. A quick, everything okay. The mechanic will disperse, and then we'll get a warm-up lap like always. And then, yeah, we'll be back underway for a 5-lap dash. A very exciting, I feel, 5-lap dash coming up. So there you can see confirmation of the quick restart coming up in around about 3 or 4 minutes' time. So we'll be shortly be back underway. Like Liam says, we've not had any updates on the condition of Belford or Casma Daniels. So we'll bring you them as soon as we have it, if we do get it, of course. But like I say, we did see them conscious and moving. So first and foremost, that is a good sign. Hopefully they'll be all okay. They'll have headed to the medical centre for further checks, of course. And yeah, just keep our fingers crossed that it's nothing too serious.
Yes, it's something that you do not want to see in motorcycle racing, especially with what's happened more recently in the past week or so. So all of our thoughts are with the two riders that crashed out at turn at number 12 at the first round of the race before we get started once more. 5 laps, it's going to be like a sprint race, and we know sprint races will be coming to MotoGP next year, and so I always get excited when we've got races of this length. You never know what's going to happen. The lead for Max Martinez, which was almost up to 2 seconds before the red flags came out, will be negated now. So we go from a clean slate. There's no aggregate in, well, any motorsport really anymore. So if you remember back in the day what was happening if a red flag came out, they would sort of add on your time from the previous race. So it was always a timing thing that was a bit confusing. But nowadays, it's all about this start, and this is the race that does matter. Forget about everything that happened before. It's just the next 5 laps that will count for full championship points.
Yeah, Max Martinez won't be particularly pleased that his 2-second lead will have been slashed, but he'll just be hoping now and concentrating on trying to get a good start like he did in the initial race start from pole position, try and get the whole shot. He's shown great form and great speed all weekend, was on pole by a good couple of attempts yesterday. Set that pole time late in the afternoon under sunny skies, similar to what we've got today. And yeah, so Casey O'Gorman then will start from 2nd place. Guido Pini will complete the first row in 3rd, and then Joel Esteban, like he did a little bit earlier on, will be starting from 4th place, the title leader. Al Sahuti will start from 5th place. Lorenz Luciano, who will be starting from 6th place, with Carter Thompson in 7th place, and Noriati then will start from 8th place after his grid penalty in the initial restart. So we've got a very intriguing few laps, a very intriguing 5 laps coming up in around about 2 minutes, if my watch is correct. I think it could be 1 minute, something around then. But yeah, the riders will be back on track very shortly. Indeed, we get some slow-mo action of the fans enjoying themselves here in Aragon. A perfect day to come and watch some motorcycle racing. Smiles there, of course. Nice hat. Yeah, it is a little bit warm, to be fair, but not too bad. Like I say, 21 degrees, sort of perfect temperatures, really. You don't want it too much warmer than that to be standing out and watching motorcycle racing, and neither do the riders, of course. And there's not much wind around, so there's not much heat relief, let's say. But yeah, thumbs up from the fans. Good to see them here. Good, at least I'd say a couple hundred here watching the action, so that's good to see in Aragon. So here we go then. Pit lane will open very, very shortly, and the riders will be heading out on track for a sighting lap. Then they'll come round to the grids, quick chat to the mechanics, and they'll quickly disperse, and then a warm-up lap, and then 5 laps, a crucial 5 laps as well. Brian Uriarte just holding a hand up there. Hopefully that's not an issue there for Uriarte. He's just taken his bike to the side. So Uriarte then, after making his way up to P8, could have an issue here. I don't see him coming out of pit lane either. There's a little bit of commotion going on down there at the end of pit lane, so we'll wait and see what happens to Uriarte. But that's the number 28 then of Martinez, who got the whole shot on, got a 2-second lead in the initial restart. He'll be starting from pole position again and going in hunt for that 2nd victory of the season.
You have the suspicion that Brian Uriarte, just when he has any luck, it's just bad luck, because no matter what happens, when he gets himself into a good position, there's always something that goes awry that comes his way as well. So the number 28, Max Martinez, who was your race leader before the red flags came out, he will be starting from the pole position once again. He started from pole position the first time round after, well, what was a superb day of qualifying yesterday. He was head and shoulders above the rest towards the end of qualifying. A late lap put him almost 0.4 of a second quicker than anyone else towards the end of qualifying. A lap that really sort of came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting it, but we really should have been, because he had been setting a fantastic pace all weekend. I want to give a little shout out to Hamid Al Sahuti. Ever since he made an appearance in the JuniorGP a few weeks ago, he's been showing great form this weekend. He starts in 5th spot. He was in 5th when the red flags came out, so the Leopard Impala junior team rider is really starting to show the talent and form that we have expected of him from the Asian Talent Cup, which Elliot yourself will know very well of how well Hamid Al Sahuti has been in the Asian Talent Cup over the last few years.
Yeah, finished 3rd in Japan a couple of weeks ago. Did Hamid Al Sahuti getting on the podium. Did unfortunately have a little bit of a tougher weekend over in Thailand, so lost ground in the championship chase. He's still 4th overall though, is Hamid Al Sahuti, so doing well over in the Asia Talent Cup. And the Asia Talent Cup, of course, run the same bikes as they do here in the European Talent Cup, the Honda 250s. So yeah, not a change of bike for Hamid Al Sahuti, sorry, and the likes who are also competing in the Asia Talent Cup and British Talent Cup. So yeah, not a change in that sense, but obviously completely different tracks, flying from the other side of the world, from one weekend to another, like the Asia Talent Cup riders who have also competing here. Hakim Danish we've mentioned. So yeah, a tough period, an exciting period, but obviously a grueling period for these riders. So they've pulled up to the grid then. Like I say, the mechanics will quickly disperse from the grids. The warm-up lap will be underway very shortly indeed. And then we'll be racing, for 5 more laps here in race 1 before race 2 later on this afternoon. A huge 5 laps coming up in terms of the title race, Liam. Very, very difficult to predict anything in the European Talent Cup.
Yeah, well, now there'll be no tyre management coming into play, no games, it will just be all out. Whoever is the fastest in the next 5 laps will take the win. Whoever's the bravest might take the win, because we know that Max Martinez, he has been the pace setter here today, but now there's only 5 laps, staring the riders in the face. What can Joel Esteban do? What can Casey O'Gorman do? We have seen Casey O'Gorman in the early stages of the first part of the race, very aggressive, getting his arms out, very clean though, but very aggressive, getting his elbows out to work his way up into the podium spots as well. Guido Pini, he'll be chasing his first win of the season as well to throw himself back into, well, single digits of points just behind Joel Esteban. It's all to play for here, as we see some of the riders just taking a wide line through the penalty loop just to sort of slot further back into the pack. I can't imagine there'll be any long lap penalties coming in the way of any of the riders this time round, unless someone runs off the track a good few times in 5 laps time.
Yeah, if someone manages to get a long lap penalty in the 5 lap dash, then they'll be doing very well indeed, or not so well, to be truthful. But yeah, a very intriguing and important 5 laps coming up then. There's the famous Aragon wall. That's the corner that Evan Belford and Christian Daniel crashed at earlier on, that brought out the red flags. It's going to have to be a quick start for all of them. There's no messing about, no taking your time to get into the race, settle into the race. It's all about getting a good start and getting right into your rhythm, because you've not really got much time to settle down, settle into a race rhythm. You've got to go straight at it. 5 laps, not a long time at all. And we see there Brian Ariarte doesn't look like he's got any issues, so he did get out of pit lane in time, and he will line up in P8. Did the Portimao race winner. So we are going to get underway then very shortly indeed. Max Martinez, number 28, on pole position. Casey O'Gorman in 2nd place. Guido Pini in 3rd place, and your title chase leader Joel Esteban starting from 4th place on the number 78.
32 points off the championship leader. The number 28 of Max Martinez is behind the number 78, who's on screen, Joel Esteban. The class man of the season so far, Joel Esteban, has been the winner of the first 3 races of the year. Can he pick up another victory on his way to trying to put one hand on the championship trophy here today?
Watch out for the green flag in the background. The red flag will be removed. The lights will come on in the top right hand screen And we will shortly be underway for the restart here in Hawkers European Talent Cup Race 1. It looks like a fantastic start from the middle of the front row for Casey O'Gorman, Guido Pini up the inside as well, but it's going to be Casey O'Gorman from second on the grid who gets the whole shot into turn 1. Max Martinez slots into second place from pole position. Pini holds station in third place, and that looks like Brian Uriarte, is it, who got a good start from... Yeah, it is, the number 51. So from the third row of the grid, Brian Uriarte, fantastic start. Joel Esteban has been moved to fifth place as Max Martinez dies at the inside at turn 5. A great move on the opening lap of this restart for Max Martinez. He moves into P1 ahead of Casey O'Gorman.
Superb start by the number 51 of Brian Uriarte. He swooped around the outside of about 4 riders on the braking zone into turn number 1. The start wasn't quite as good as it was the first time round, but late on the brakes he had a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in his fellow riders not to bump him wide as he went round the outside. Guido Pini in third, and Carter Thompson, the number 50, he's up into 6th spot. So a great start by the young Australian. Fresh off his first podium in the Asia Talent Cup a week ago in Thailand, carrying that confidence here this weekend. He has been fast all weekend. The number 50, watch out for him. He is in the mix as well. And Hakim Danish, who had a terrible first part of the race, he's up in 9th as well. So the Asia Talent Cup Championship leader is finding his form in the second part of this race. But a little bit of a gap opening up between the top 4 back towards Joel Esteban and Carter Thompson. And a smaller bit of a gap back towards 7th, which is Tony Luciano in 7th spot. A move there, Brian Uriarte in towards 3rd. The top 2 run off the track as they head down towards the final corner. Down the back straight they come. It's Martinez from O'Gorman. It's Uriarte and Pini.
Yeah, Max Martinez wanted to get on with this. Took the lead at turn 5, but he's going to relinquish the lead to Casey O'Gorman. Brian Uriarte sticking it around the outside. Pini on the inside, but it is Martinez who holds on to P1. But Casey O'Gorman then takes the lead at the end of lap 1. Only 4 laps to go, remember, of this race restart. And he's getting very close there on the exit. Max Martinez gets shoved out wide. He's going to lose a few positions there. Casey O'Gorman then leads lap 1. 4 laps to go. Pini now up in second place. That's Joel Esteban up the inside of Brian Uriarte, trying to make a move on Martinez as well. Doesn't quite come to fruition, but Esteban starting to get busy now. He's climbed up into P4, lost 1 position on the grid, but the title chase leader is into P4, and he's got 2 of his main title contenders at least in front of him in Guido Pini, his main title contender. Max Martinez in 4th in the championship, but Casey O'Gorman leads the way.
Yeah, Guido Pini's giving me heart palpitations at the moment. He's getting very close to the back of Casey O'Gorman. I thought he was about to run into the back of him coming through turn number 3. Had to sit up ever so slightly to run off the track, but he's looking up the inside, and a move coming from Joel Esteban, elbowing aside Max Martinez. Pushes Max Martinez out. The number 28, that's Brian Uriarte, is taking advantage of that as well. And Carter Thompson in the mix, trying to take advantage of all the squabbling going on in front of him. Casey O'Gorman leads the way. 3.5 laps remaining. It's getting a little bit heated.
It certainly is getting heated. The riders know that they've not got long left of this race, of the restarted race, of course. Guido Pini getting a fantastic run out of the Marc Marquez corner. Turn 10, up over the brow of the hill, through turn 11. They're about 5 abreast going down into turn 12. That's Max Martinez late on the brake. What a move from Max Martinez. He keeps it on the straight and narrow as well. So he's gone from about 4th place there as Max Martinez up into the lead. Joel Esteban in 2nd place, but for how long? Guido Pini looking at the inside. Thinks a little bit better of it down into turn 14. Slipstream is going to come right into play here down the near kilometre long back straight, but that was a fantastic move from Max Martinez. He's got a little bit beaten up in the last lap or so, but he's made his way back through into the race lead, and now he's got Joel Esteban, the title leader, right up in his slipstream. Who's going to make it into turn 16 in P1? Not sure, but it's Joel Esteban looking like he was trying to make a move, but Max Martinez getting a good run out of turn 15 and keeping them at bay through turn 16 and 17. He'll lead with 3 laps to go, but this is getting very busy. Uriarte up into 3rd place. Joel Esteban making good ground down into turn 1. Casey O'Gorman down into 4th place across the line, but it's Max Martinez and your pole sitter who leads the way once again.
A bit of a moment for one of the riders in the pack there. I think that might have been Carter Thompson, had a moment coming out through turn number 1. And fastest lap of the race, that's Behoza, the number 69 rider. He's come from absolutely nowhere on the Austin Racing Team machine, so watch out for the green machine making moves on the inside of Tony Luciano as well. So chopping and changing every way you look, and that's Guido Pini up the inside of Uriarte into turn number 5. He's back in the 3rd spot, but this is not what the riders wanted. Max Martinez leading the way once again, as he did in the first part of the race. He's trying to check out as Joel Esteban runs off the track and onto the green. He loses a little bit bit of time. Can Guido Pini take advantage of that? No, he can't. So it's Martinez from Esteban, Guido Pini in third, ahead of Uriarte and Casey O'Gorman. That is your top 5 for now.
Classy stuff this from Max Martinez. He got a little bit beaten up a couple of laps ago, dropped down to as low as 5th place, but he's made his way back up to the lead, and he is instantly trying to gap the riders behind, which is no easy feat at all in motorcycle race, especially in a class as close as this. Guido Pini shoves it up the inside of the title leader, Joel Esteban. They're 1 and 2 in the title standings. Guido Pini is chasing his first victory, and he returns to the podium. Remember, Guido Pini not stood on the podium for a while. Brian Uriarte has done. He was the race winner last time out, and after his grid penalty, after a misdemeanor in qualifying, he's back up into the podium places as Brian Uriarte. So this is going to go right down to the wire. Look at that freight train down the back straight. But Max Martinez, what's his gap? He's eked out a couple of tenths on this lap. He's up to half a second for Max Martinez, and with just over 2 laps to go, this is looking promising for the number 28, but there's plenty of time left to go. That was a little bit close for comfort down into turn 16.
Casey O'Gorman trying to sweep round the outside of Brian Uriarte. He's going to have to try a little bit harder than that to get round Brian Uriarte, who we know is one of the latest breakers in the whole class. But they've managed to reel back in. Max Martinez, Guido Pini looking up the inside with 2 laps remaining. O'Gorman's back up into 4th. Joel Esteban, your championship leader, down into 5th spot. Move there for Brian Uriarte into turn number 2. That was ambitious but brilliant at the same time. Casey O'Gorman pushing Pini out wide as well. So Pini has gone from 2nd to 4th in a matter of 2 corners. Will he lose another spot? No, he's just holding on for now. And Carter Thompson has dropped back. So that's now Tony Luciano in 6th spot in the number 81 machine. He's holding station as Joel Esteban looks over his shoulder and sees a freight train of another 3 bikes just behind him. But Max Martinez is coming under pressure now from the number 51, who, let's not forget, had a penalty and started from 26th. In the first part of the race, managed to work his way up into 8th and started from 8th in the grid in this part of the race, so he is now in contention for the win here today.
Yeah, Lorenzo Luciano, runner-up in the 2021 Northern Talent Cup, and his best result so far this year is a P6 back in Jerez, so he's hoping to try and penetrate the top 5, and it's a top 5 made up of very, very quick riders indeed, but they've just breezed a little bit of a gap now, have the top 5. Guido Pini up the inside of it, Casey O'Gorman down into turn 12. Max Martinez running slightly wide there, allowing Brian Uriarte to just make up maybe a couple of attempts on him. Brian Uriarte, the number 51, looking really, really menacing with 1 and a bit laps to go. We're going to come onto the back straight for the penultimate time. Slipstream City, O'Gorman making a nice move on Guido Pini. These two going hammer and tong with just over 2 laps to go. Joel Esteban, the title leader, trying to get tucked up into the slipstream, trying to make a move. He wants a podium so desperately does Joel Esteban to try and hold on to his 15-point lead in the overall standings. Max Martinez, good drive again down the back straight. If he can do that again next time around, it looks like he's going to try and win the race from there, but plenty of, well, time left on the hands of Brian Uriarte. Last lap time, there's Nico Tirol telling Joel Esteban to try and get a move on, and he is getting a move on down into turn 1. He moves up into 2nd place. A fantastic last couple of corners, and turn 1 there for Joel Esteban, but he loses out on the exit. And Casey O'Gorman's trying to have a bite of the cherry now. So after briefly sitting in 2nd place, Joel Esteban, well, he's been moved down to 4th place. It looks like it's 5th place now.
Yeah, it was nerfed out a little bit there by Casey O'Gorman. Casey O'Gorman's really given that the leaders are something to think about now. Nico Tirol cannot look on the pit wall as his man has been shuffled down to 5th place. So it's a top 5 at the moment. Max Martinez in this part of the circuit really opens out a gap. Joel Esteban a little bit wide into turn number 7. Bit of a moment further back in 4th spot for Guido Pini as well. But Max Martinez keeping his calm, keeping his composure as the Lickley's team cannot look on at this action that's going on between the top 5 right now. So Max Martinez, this is perfect for him if it stays where it is. He will slash the gap to Joel Esteban in the championship. Well, I don't want to calculate what it could be, but it's going from 32 points down towards the lower regions of the top 10. Casey O'Gorman up the inside of Brian Uriarte, but here comes Pini as well. Later in the race, he's been doing that lap after lap. Will he run a little bit wide onto the curb a little bit, but he holds position. This is great for Max Martinez. Uriarte nearly clipping the back of Casey O'Gorman. Casey O'Gorman none the wiser to that. So it's all standard for now. Martinez from Pini, from O'Gorman as they head onto the back straight for the final time.
Yeah, the final time then, Max Martinez looks like he's got enough of an advantage to hold on to the race win here. Casey O'Gorman wants that second place, wants the win, of course. Guido Pini in second place, wants to return to the podium, second in the title chase. Joel Esteban looks like he's just lost a little bit of ground. Casey O'Gorman, then the riders are closing in on Max Martinez. Are they going to make a late move up the inside? No, Max Martinez holds on to the lead for now. Pini in second place, O'Gorman in third place. Not for long, because Uriarte sticks to the inside, and Guido Pini has stuck at the inside of the final, caught the number 93. Is he going to win for the first time this season? Yes, he is. Guido Pini, what a race victory for the number 93. Huge in terms of the title chase as well. Joel Esteban crosses the line in 5th place, the number 78. What a last lap that was from the 93 of Guido Pini. We mentioned he wanted to return to the podium, and he has done in superb fashion. What a race victory, and what a time to pick up your first race victory as well. Guido Pini, wow, I thought Max Martinez had done it there down into the final corner. Thought he had enough of an advantage, but Guido Pini created something at the final corner.
Well, by my calculations, which are never correct at the best of times, I believe that that's now 6 points between Pini and Joel Esteban in the championship. Going into race number 2 later on today, so Guido Pini is finally taking his first win, and what a time to do it as well at the business end of the championship, and he slashed the gap down to Joel Esteban in the championship standings, and he's delighted with that victory as well.
Whoa, what an end to the lap that was for the Italian Guido Pini. He's been Mr. Consistent this year, just missing that first race victory. He's only been on the podium twice, but his lowest finish has been P9 this year. But he now is a European Talent Cup race winner, is the number 93. We'll be interested to see what the championship standings are at the end of that one. Max Martinez doesn't look happy with a P2 finish. It helps his championship, of course, but when you're leading into the final couple of corners, you probably thought you'd got the job done. Just didn't quite close the gap on the inside. But take nothing away from Guido Pini. That was an absolutely stunning final couple of corners for the Italian. Hadn't been on the podium since Valencia, since he finished second place in Valencia. The best result of 5th place in the 4 races that have been in Barcelona, Jerez and Portimao. But what a time to get your first race win. Joel Esteban on screen. He won't be too pleased with 5th place. He's seen his title lead slashed, of course. And what a race 2 we've got in store. Remember, if Joel Esteban or any of the riders leave this weekend with a 25-point advantage, I think it's only Joel Esteban who can leave with a 25-point advantage, then he will be crowned the 2022 European Talent Cup winner. But he won't be thinking about that now. He'll be thinking about how he can improve slightly in race 2. But wow, what more can we say about Guido Pini? He's also won a couple of races over in Italy this year in the CIV Moto3 series in Mugello and Mazzano, but he was just missing that victory here. And the AC Racing team, of course, missing that victory as well, but they've finally got it, and what a time to get it as well. 2 races remain in the 2022 title chase, and Guido Pini has put himself firmly in the mix. He was firmly in the mix anyway, but now he's put himself in an even stronger position as the number 93. And how many times have we said the number 93 has won in Aragon? Celebrations can begin, of course, but we've got another race coming up later on this afternoon. I think Max Martinez there just going straight to his team and trying to explain what happened, trying to debrief with his team what happened at the final corner. He built up a gap, didn't he, did Max Martinez? It was a good half a second on that last lap, but slipstream does come into full effect here in the European Talent Cup. That near kilometre long back straight. Very, very difficult for riders to try and break the slipstream, even when you've got a sort of half-second lead. Yeah, it looks a little bit disappointed, but the team obviously just trying to tell him that, hey, P2, not bad at all. 20 points more on the board. You've closed down the title leader. Going to be starting from pole again this afternoon, and he's shown serious speed here. If it wasn't for the red flag and the 5-lap dash, then Max Martinez looked like he was sort of not cruising to victory by any means, but looks like he was well on the way to victory. But unfortunately, that's what can happen in motorcycle racing sometimes. But 20 points on the board for Max Martinez. A job well done. The top 3 incidentally crossed the line less than a tenth apart. How close do you like it? Brian Uriarte, after his grid penalty in race 1 for riding slowly in 5 sectors in qualifying, made his way up through the fields before the red flags. Started from P8, got a great launch from P8, and from there on was in the podium hunt throughout. This was Max Martinez down into turn 12, a popular passing manoeuvre here at Motorland Aragon in front of the famous wall. Went from about 4th to 1st there, did Max Martinez with a couple of laps to go, and then eked out a little bit of advantage, and this was the final corner. Casey O'Gorman threatening to go up the insides of Guido Pini, and then lost out to Brian Uriarte. Guido Pini taking a nice wide sweeping line. Max Martinez didn't quite cover off the insides, and ultimately it cost Max Martinez the race win. The AC Racing team super happy for their man Guido Pini. Tears flowing. Finally a race win under his belt. He's thoroughly deserved a race win this year's Guido Pini. We'll be hearing from him very shortly down in Parc Fermé. He'll be speaking to Liam, who's made his way down there. And here we go then. We can hear from Guido Pini now down in Parc Fermé. He's with Liam.
Guido Pini, your first win of the year. What a time to do it. Just explain to us your emotions.
I'm very happy. Thanks to my team. We work hard all the weekend. I do a good last corner. And thanks all. I don't have words. Thanks my team, Nico Ferreira, Palix, and Talenti Azzurri, and my family. And sponsor. Thanks.
It's a great win, and can you explain how you did it to us in Italian as well, please?
Ok. È stata una gara incredibile, sono molto contento. Abbiamo fatto una buona ultima curva e abbiamo lavorato tanto con il team. Li devo ringraziare, ringrazio tutto il team, i Talenti Azzurri, Nico Ferreira, Palix e la mia famiglia e gli sponsor. Ciao.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's the highlights then from race 1 in the Hawkers European Talent Cup here in Aragon. Max Martinez getting a good launch from the line in the initial race start from pole position. Got the whole shot. Dodo Boggio there up in 2nd place. Pini, the eventual race winner, up into 3rd place. Joel Esteban, the title chase leader, in 4th place. Casey O'Gorman getting a great start on the number 67 machine. He was up into the podium fight from the 2nd row in the early exchanges. Max Martinez did pull out a little bit of a gap on the chasing pack before this happened to Dodo Boggio on the exit of turn 3. A nasty crash for the Italian, but thankfully we can report he is all okay and will be back out for race 2. This is the crash then that caused the red flags. Evan Belford on the Vision Track racing machine just run slightly wide into turn 12, and nasty high sides for the British rider, who unfortunately got collected by Christian Daniel, the American. This brought out the red flags. Both riders were conscious. We've not had an update on their condition, but fingers crossed they are all okay. After a slight delay, the race got underway. A 5-lap dash for the Hawkers European Talent Cup riders. Casey O'Gorman got the whole shot down into turn 1. A fantastic start for the British rider. But from there on in, it was a ferocious battle for the race victory. Max Martinez there on the opening lap, diving up the inside at turn 5. Nico Troll and the Aspar junior team looking on for Joel Esteban, the title chase leader, of course. Briefly led, but Max Martinez then retook the lead after getting slightly beaten up in the opening couple of laps. And this was the final couple of corners then. Max Martinez did lead into the final corner, turn 16 through there, but then at turn 17, the final corner, Guido Pini held an inside line, kept it nice, and then took race victory for the first time this year. The AC Racing team ecstatic. He closes the title lead down on Joel Esteban as well, ahead of race 2 this afternoon in Aragon. Time for the podium then here in the Hawkers European Talent Cup Race 1. Brian Ariarte will take the third step of the podium after a team member from the AC Racing team collects the team winner's trophy. Brian Ariarte, third place for the young Spaniards. A disappointed and dejected looking Max Martinez will stand on the second spot on the podium, but your race winner for the first time in 2022, Guido Pini, will stand on the top step. He looks very happy down in Parc Fermé, Liam, and you can understand why. What a time to get your first race win.
I almost couldn't believe that there would be a bigger smile in the paddock, bigger than Lucas Tulovic's, but I was wrong. Guido Pini, his first win of the year, that has really fired him back into title contention, and he's only, well, a handful of points off Joel Esteban at the top of the standings. Max Martinez, he should be happy because he rode very well. He's still got another bite of the cherry to try and win later on today, but Guido Pini lifts the trophy atop his head. That is his first win in the Hawkers European Talent Cup.
We get to hear the Italian national anthem too.
Well, the Italian national anthem rings out for the first time here in Hawkers European Talent Cup for the number 93, Guido Pini, as the riders spray something that resembles the Prosecco dog, but it will not be that because they're too young to drink, as the top three spray the sparkly water. They've got it all to do again later on today. Guido Pini does a little shuffle. I don't know if that's a little trend that's on TikTok at the moment. But yeah, for all those kids out there, they'll probably know what that dance is. The top three will stand for their pictures with their trophies as well. Brian Uriarte in third spot after a penalty demoted him to 26th on the grid for part one. Climbed his way up to 8th for the restart and managed to work his way onto the podium. Max Martinez, a little bit disconsolate in second spot, but he has shown great pace all weekend. He does it all again for race number 2 today, but can anyone stop Guido Pini, who is now, for the first time in the Hawkers European Talent Cup, a race winner? So here are the standings then. After 10 minutes of racing action, 5 laps, it's Guido Pini who took the win ahead of Max Martinez and Brian Uriarte. Casey O'Gorman just missed out on the podium, and Joel Esteban, your championship leader, sees his championship lead slashed. Fernando Buaza in the 6th spot, a great ride by him, ahead of Carter Thompson in 7th, the young Australian there. Further down the field, we had Hakim Danish, the Asia Talent Cup Championship leader in 10th, ahead of Rushi Moodley and Cesar Perilla in 12th spot, ahead of Guillaume Plonk. Rico Salmelli, your winner here in the Red Bull Rookies earlier on in the year, ahead of Hamid Al Sahuti, who dropped down the order from 5th all the way to 15th. Emmanuel Brinton, he finished in 18th, just outside the points. A tough day for the young Brit, ahead of Alvaro Fuertes and Trias in 20th. Further down, we had Adriano Donoso ahead of Leo Rammenstoffer, and then Jose Luis further down the field. And there's the people that didn't take part in the restart. We send our best wishes out to Evan Belford and also the likes of Daniel as well, who had a nasty crash at turn number 12, which brought out the red flags. Only 1 point, so my calculations were wrong earlier on in the day. Only 1 point between Joel Esteban and Guido Pini, and that is what we've got to look forward to in race number 2 later on today. Max Martinez, 23 points further back, ahead of Dodo Boggio. Brian Uriarte climbed 2 places up from 7th to 5th, ahead of Hakim Danish and Casey O'Gorman in 7th. Rushi Midley in the top 10. He is on 51 points ahead of Emmanuel Brinton, who'll be hoping for a better race number 2 later on today. Guillaume Plonk in 12th ahead of Jesus Rios in 13th and Cesar Perilla in 14th. And Pau Alcina, who crashed out of 6th spot, he is in 15th in the standings. Further down we have Johnny Garnett, who is not taking part this weekend as he had a crash in the season finale of the British Talent Cup, which put him out of action for that round and this round, so we hope to see him back for Valencia. Hamid Al Sahuti in 21st ahead of Buoza, who picks up his first points of the year when he picked up 6th. He's on 10 points. And then the runners and riders all the way down to Matt Rosebrook in 33rd spot on 1 point as well. So 1 point cover the top 2 in the championship with only 2 races remaining. The top 3 covered by 23 points. It's all to play for as we look forward to race number 2 later on today. Joel Esteban on 1-2-6. Guido Pini, who picked up his first win ever in the European Talent Cup, is on 1-2-5. He crossed the line to take his first ever win here at Motorland Aragon. The number 93 will be looking to do it all again later on today as race number 2 will commence as the final race in action of the day here at Aragon. 1 point between Joel Esteban and Guido Pini.